When it comes to Social Security, everybody wants to know when they should start their benefits, and there are really two schools of thought. The first is that I should start early at the age 62 because I will collect 4 years of benefits that I wouldn't otherwise receive if I wait till my, say, full retirement age, if I delay. The second is that I should delay to receive that higher monthly benefit because at one point in the future I should break even. We're going to jump to a planning session to see which is better for this client. Let's dive in and take a look. So here we are on the dashboard, but before we continue, I just want to let you guys know that this is for educational purposes only. It's not meant to be taken as literal financial or tax advice. So with that said, let's jump into the plan. So this plan gets a little tricky because these clients have already started their Social Security benefit. I'm doing this more so as an education piece because we get the question all the time. What if I was to invest my benefit, start early, invest my benefit instead of, waiting until age 66 to get the higher amount? So in order to figure that out, I have to take their Social Security benefits at age 62 and grow that up to an amount that it would be equal to starting today. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll start with his first. I'll jump into facts, and this will all make more sense in just a moment, so bear with me. We'll jump into Social Security and see what his benefit would be at 62. And earliest at 62, it would be $21,150 per year, almost $1,800 per month. So I'll take the $21,050, and actually I can just add this into a calculator. This is a compounding interest calculator. So 21,150, and we're going to grow that over a 4-year period. We're going to take that each year. So we'll do it 21,150 for 4 years at 5%. Calculate, that's $95,717. All right, and so then what we have to do with that $95,017 is grow that by the remaining years to his current age. So from 66 to age 71. So that would be 66, so 67, 68, 69, 70, 71. So we'll add 5 years to it. So I'm going to change this to 5 years, and then I'm going to put this $95,717 up here. 5 years at 5%, and we'd have $244,872. $244,872. Actually, we'll need to remove this because we will not be at the age 66. We're only assuming that he's going to add that annual benefit for those 4 years. After that, they'll be living off that benefit. So it's $95,000 from those 4 years plus that 5% compound. And then that's for 5 years up to age 71. This is the real number. So 122,161. Go back to the plan, and I'm going to add that into this pre-built scenario I built. I put together Social Security at 62 plus 4 years added to portfolio. So we jump inside here. I have an account set up for Mr. Client. It's a brokerage account because they will have already paid tax on this money. I'm going to stick that in here at 122,161, and we're going to continue to grow it at 5% from that point forward. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to go back now, and I'm going to do it for her. So if we go back to facts, we look at Social Security benefits. We want to get her figure, 18,900. So that's plug this in here. So we're going to put 0 up here, 18,900. We're going to do that for 4 years and at 5%, 85,534. Now we need to figure out how many years will have gone by to her current age. So if we open this back up, she's 67. So only 1 year between her full retirement age and her current age. So we will compound that for 1 year at 5%. Excuse me. First of all, we need to grow this for 4 years. Yeah, that's their number down here. Sorry. So 85,534. So that's what she'll start with. No additional contributions because she's going to start living off the benefit. And we'll do that for 1 year at 5%. And that has grown to 89,015. So let's see if I can copy that number. We'll go back into our plan, and we'll open up that scenario we built, and we created this account for the client for post-tax money. It's called a brokerage account, and we will stick it inside here. We'll apply 5% to it from that point forward. So next, we want to jump over to reports, and we just want to take a look at a couple things. First of all, we want to make sure that that account's being reflected here in the plan, and we can do that by jumping over to assets, the assets report. So I'm going to jump into assets report, And we see investment assets. So retirement assets, that's not it, because that's 401k IRA money, stuff we haven't paid tax on yet. We paid tax on this because this is the benefit we received, and in that following year, we will have paid taxes on it. Cash is just cash in the bank we've already paid tax on. That's not it. So here it is, because this is being invested, and we can see those two accounts that we created, and we can see both of those amounts being added. Mr. Client's early Social Security benefits, Mrs. Client's early Social Security benefits, and we can see that they're growing. So now what we want to do is just take a look at the cash flow. After we look at cash flow, I'll run a comparison between the two. So the client is generating about $74,000 per year. They have total expenses of about $100,000 per year, and that leaves them with an annual shortfall of about $27,000 to be taken from their portfolio assets. Which are now 1.16 million. What I want to do is jump into the withdrawals report like I always do to see what that is as a percentage. And it's not bad. So about 2.5%, and that leads up to about 4%. It starts to get bad here after he passes because she loses, it's after, she passes here. And it starts to get bad for him because he's losing half the Social Security benefit now. So they begin taking a lot more from those retirement savings accounts. But I mean, that's at $1.4 million by the time both of them have passed. So this looks pretty good. I mean, this is a viable plan. If they took early at 62, had they invested that at 5%, even with the lower Social Security benefit, they'd be fine. Now let's just see how it would look if we were to delay. So going back to plans, I've pre-built that as well, Social Security at 66. We'll jump in here to see that difference. And what we're looking at is this higher monthly or annual Social Security benefits, 28.2. That's $23.50 per month. And down here, it's $25.2 and $2,100 a month. So the Social Security benefit's a lot higher. Their annual income will be $10,000 to $12,000 more per year. So jumping over to reports, because that's the only change we needed to make here. I'm going to run a side-by-side. So I'm going to open up that plan. The first plan we looked at, 62 plus 4 years of added portfolio. And then we'll do taking at 66 without any of those contributions, additional investments to the retirement savings. While looking at our little cheat sheet here, looks as though delaying actually is better in the long run. But let's take a look for ourselves. So right here we have, and start with, a $26,000 shortfall and total portfolio assets of 1.16. Over here, however, we have $87,000 of income. So our income is, like I said earlier, about, $13,000, $14,000 more per year. Now our outflows are a little lower too, a couple grand, and that's because we're not taking as much from the IRA retirement accounts in order to make up that bigger shortfall, because the shortfall now is, about half, more than half. It's only $11,671. So risk is a lot lower for the client with this plan, but portfolio assets aren't nearly as strong. So we're looking at $950 in comparison to about going on 1.16. And we know that because they added that those 4 years plus 5% compound to their portfolio. And so when we're looking at the two, higher income on the right, but a stronger portfolio on the left. Now let's continue down to kind of closer to the age of death and see how the portfolio values look there. So she dies at 100 because she's older, and she hits 100 first. We plan to age 100. And at that time, the portfolio value is about almost 1.6 million. And on the right, it's actually significantly less. It's 1.3 million. And we know that because they started with so much more. And if we continue moving all the way down until his death, well, it's about 1.4, call it, and about 1 million over here on the right. So we can see that even though the client has a much stronger annual income, if they delay, their portfolio assets are much higher at death, with having added all those contributions plus that 5% to it. And that ends up being what looks to be a better plan. I'm going to jump into Monte Carlo and see if we can't do a comparison there. So Monte Carlo is here. Let's see when we run this across, well, 1,000, it's 1,000 simulations, how either of these plans hold up. So we're going to start with age 62 plus the 4 years added to the portfolio. And that's great. I mean, we have 100% probability of success here. That's what we want to see. So that's a viable plan. Now, what if we were to delay to age 66? How does that look for us? And that too is 100%. So if it were me sitting in the shoes of the client, what would I do? It is tough because the plan on the right, the one where we're delaying, typically that's the recommendation I make because I know that clients don't have the discipline to save those 4 years of their benefit. They're going to start early at 62 and they're going to spend that money instead of saving it. However, if you've got the discipline to save those annual benefits into an investment account, well, then I think it's pretty obvious what direction you should go in. You should probably start them early and invest them at that 5%. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys. There are a lot of other considerations when it comes to taking your Social Security benefits. This is more so aimed at answering the question, if I was to start early and invest at, say, some market average, 5% I think is reasonable for a retiree, how would things look in comparison? And for this client and their particular finances, it does look that makes a strong argument for taking early instead of delaying those benefits. Hopefully you guys took away a few things from today's episode. If you guys are looking to have a plan built to figure out what's best for you, taking early or taking later, we don't mind running that for you. So reach out to us. You can always contact us by email, phone. The details are in this video below. So thanks again for tuning in and looking forward to seeing you in the next episode.